In a 6-month period, in Lagos alone, 2,300 cases of domestic abuse, and I mean in between spouses, were recorded, and 4 deaths. When I was just a child, and those of you who know this about me, I have a vivid memory of my childhood. When I was growing up, 2 of my favorite animals were the panda and the polar bear. And of all reasons, I just, excuse the naivety of a child, I thought they looked cute. And I thought that if I ever saw a polar bear, I will hug the polar bear. When I was a child, I spoke like a child and I acted like a child, like Paul said. But when I grew up, I put away childish things, because when I began to learn about how dangerous a polar bear is, I realized how foolish I was and how naive I was. Polar bears are amongst 5 most deadly predators in the world. 5 of the most deadly predators in the world. And I'll just tell you a bit about polar bears. So first and foremost, even amongst all the bears, and they're all dangerous, the polar bear is the most dangerous, because it is said, if you ever encounter a brown bear, just lie, play dead, to see you as less a threat. If you see a brown bear, lie down. If you see a black bear, fight back, because I mean, if you just, it's more likely to be intimidated and or to be deterred by threats. But if you see a polar bear, good night. That's what the saying. That's how the saying goes. If you see a polar bear, good night, because there is no known scientific way to avoid a polar bear that is after your life. No known way. No known way. First and foremost, some reports disagree. But one report I read says a polar bear can pick your scent from 1.6 kilometers away. 1.6. And I know some of you are struggling with mathematics, so don't worry, I'm going to help you. Have you ever stood on a football pitch before? You know how long it is? You know the length of it? 1.6 kilometers is about 16 football pitches. So picture that if you were standing at one end and you put 16 football pitches and you were standing at the extreme of the last one, a polar bear can still pick your scent. Now, some other reports say even more than that, 20 times more than that. I mean, one of the fish that they like to hunt, they can pick their scent from 20 kilometers. Some say that, but I'm leaning to the smaller extreme. It has a bite force of 1,200 psi, and that means it can, with its teeth, crush your skull. And I can go on and on. But here I was as a child, just looking at the picture, just by the picture. Oh, it's so cute, oh, fluffy. And what I'm saying is, some of you don't realize that's how you make your marriage choices. By appearance alone. Because polar bears are tall and light-skinned. If you choose who you're going to get married to just by optics, just because it's picture perfect, you're making the same error. Something can look very nice and be very dangerous. That's all I'm trying to say. Someone can look very nice and be very dangerous. Counseling has proven time and again that we have a lot to learn, and a lot of people still don't get it. You have bought that media narrative that marriage is just cute, and you don't see, and I'm not mincing words, it is potentially dangerous. There is ample statistics to prove. Listen, in a 6-month period, in Lagos alone, 2,300 cases of domestic abuse, and I mean in between spouses, were recorded, and 4 deaths. Lagos alone. And between 2019 and 2021, 205 couples killed their spouse. 205 people killed their spouse. So this is a matter of life and death. See, I'm here to talk about survival. Only the living can marry. Are you listening to me? I'm here to tell you this decision can be the difference between life and death. Globally, 70% of female murders happened from their partners, either present or past. So this is a serious thing we're talking about. Serious thing. Let's move away from physical abuse for a while and talk about some other things. I'll tell you two stories. The first one, I have at least two examples of it, and you don't realize how common this is. That there will be somebody who grew up in a good Christian home, was very disciplined growing up, was celibate, and got everything right, but choice of a spouse. Only to realize as time went on, in one case it was a guy, and in another case it was a lady, was getting sick, was wondering what happened. When the sickness continued and persisted and became recurrent, went to the hospital. They just out of curiosity ran some checks and came out. Not only was she HIV positive, she had full-blown AIDS. In the other case of the guy, just discovered his wife belonged to the streets. So, do you know what it means? And this is why I am going to be as blunt and brutal as possible, because I think it is particularly disheartening. If it's in the world, I even understand. You don't keep yourself only to marry someone that, do you understand? Because of the person's irresponsibility. Now they tell you have months to live. Are you listening to this? How do you be disciplined all your life, make all the right choices, be celibate, do everything, follow the word of God in your life, and then marry somebody whose wrong choices you have to pay for? That someone has months to live and it's not his fault, it's not our fault. This is a matter of life and death. Before we talk about being happy, let's talk about staying alive. A woman got married, and as a good Christian, even if she was making significantly more money, she put the money in a joint account until one day she wanted to make a simple purchase. The card was declining, bam, 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 and she's wondering why. And then she checks the history, $135,000 gone. What happened? The husband spent it all, and guess where? On OnlyFans, adult sites. Squandered the family's money on adult sites. Listen to me. If you are still single, don't be so sure that that's a bad thing. You don't know what God has saved you from. There are many people who were dating people and the relationship didn't work, and then one of them went on to get married, and after a while I began to thank God for the person that they broke up with. I have seen at least 5 cases.